Hello everyone! The Star Wars The Old Republic developers have revealed what is coming up with Update 7.6, including a lot of really fun and exciting surprises. We knew about a couple of the things coming with this update, but recently they showed off an absolute ton of different new features coming to the game that I'm really looking forward to. Before I talk about all of those though, I am going to share some sad news about this update. We were originally expecting this update to center around the next part of the main storyline, following the story of Malgus, Sahar, Rakan, Shae Vizsla, and the Mandalorians. Unfortunately, back in July, SAG-AFTRA, the Voice Actors and Actors Labor Union, went on strike particularly against video game employers. This strike focused around compensation, consent, and transparency around the use of AI when it came to voice acting in video games, and was particularly targeted at the bigger studios, including Electronic Arts. Because Star Wars The Old Republic story focuses very heavily on the connection between the player and their character, which is fueled by voice acting, there was an ongoing question about whether or not the developers of the game would be able to hire and use the voice actors for the story, particularly Update 7.6. Unfortunately, the strike is still currently ongoing. There has been some headway in some areas, but even the day of this announcement that it came out, they were picketing in front of a video game studio. The Star Wars The Old Republic developers shared that the Galactic Thread 7.6 storyline is under production and very well underway, but the developers currently do not have all the elements they need to complete the story to deliver it to us, so they're delaying the storyline, just the storyline, until they can complete the story to the art quality and standards of what you're expecting when you play the story. They said, "The moment we have everything we need to finish the story, we'll get it in your hands, but we're very excited for you to check it out. There's so much here, and we are very, very happy to give you this chapter." Until this strike is resolved, companies must either sign an interim agreement or forego voice acting altogether. So we may see more and more gaming projects that require voice acting delayed, and Star Wars The Old Republic, the Broadsword Studio, is not an exception, especially as a studio under Electronic Arts umbrella. They did, however, share quite a bit about the story that we're exploring, including a teaser trailer which I'll play for you right now.
You're sure it was them?
Entirely. This particular hidden chain strike team had been harassing a nearby settlement for some time. The residents were very eager to tell Theron everything they saw.
Then we need to move before they can... Shae's flagship.
It must be the Arbiter. He took command of it after Shae disappeared.
Stay alert. This could go either way. Apologies for showing up like this.
This isn't the way to do things, Cicada. Not after everything you let happen.
I know that. Under less dire circumstances, I would have taken that into consideration. As a show of our support and our commitment to this partnership, we're here to help put an end to all of this, however we can.
It also sounds like there may be an interesting change in the way that you play the story. It really sounds like they named the update, Galactic Threads, as a nod towards creating a new mission style for this update, where there will be multiple story threads to explore. So there's 3 different paths, and you may be able to play them in different orders, which is kind of interesting and different compared to previous storylines, which were extremely linear. They also talked more about the storyline, where it will be picking up, a recap of what happened, as well as which of our favorite characters and companions will be returning. If you want to learn more about that, I'm going to skip the spoilers and you can visit Swtorista.com. Next up is Dynamic Encounters. Dynamic Encounters are actually something I'm really excited to talk to you about, and I've been covering in the background and testing on the test server before it comes out with this update. So Dynamic Encounters are a new type of scheduled, timed quests that occur on different planets in the game. Some of the really funny ones include carrying baby Tauntauns around, advertising as a Gonk droid, and launching Gomorians into a Sarlacc pit. The developers are starting with the planets of Tatooine Tatooine and Hoth for this update, and between those two planets there's over 100 new quests, which is ridiculous and pretty unexpected. These new quests will be fairly easy to find with a whole new type of quest marker and tracking system if you want to use it. But in short, you can go explore the planets and just hop from dynamic encounter to dynamic encounter. This sounds like it might be a fun new way to level, or you could do it in between more casual normal leveling, or if you're an experienced player, you can go run around from quest to quest just trying them out and earning the rewards for them. They are mostly focused towards solo players as far as I can tell, but you can do them with a friend. They showed off some of the rewards, including these two new sets of armors, the Hidden Chain and Electric Gaze armors, one of which is inspired by the High Republic. Another one of the rare but adorable rewards is the Freckled Loth Cat Kitten Pet, and boy am I excited about this next one. So they showed off these two new mounts that are part of the achievements related to the Tatooine and Hoth encounters, the Desert Sand and Frozen Peaks mounts. These are load lifter mounts, they're pretty cute, players tend to generally like them, but what was incredibly exciting was later on they revealed that these are a special type of mount. And that moves us into the next exciting feature that's being added to the game, companion mounts. This was quite a surprise and had not been talked anywhere officially about yet. In short, you'll be able to now get mounts or speeders in the game that'll allow your companion to sit beside you. Not only that, there are going to be mounts that can also hold your pets and mounts that can hold your pets and your companions. So those first two pet mounts are going to be the Desert Sand and Frozen Peaks lifter mounts that you can earn by doing the dynamic encounters, which are also available to free-to-play players. They don't seem locked out to subscribers only. They also showed off the Meirm Cicada mount, which has both the companion and the pet on the back and is actually inspired by Skeleton Crew, the new TV show coming up on Disney+. I 100% thought this was going to be a Cartel Market item, but instead they said, as a thank you to our players, the Meirm Cicada mount will be free to players starting at the launch of 7.6 for players with an active subscription between November 29th and January 4th. So basically, just by subscribing, which you might be doing already, you get a free new version of this super cool feature that allows you to have your companion and or pet ride beside you. They did spend some time clarifying that no, not all pets and companions will fit in the speeder. They mentioned poor Bessie won't fit. Speaking of pets, they're adding a new first-of-its-kind bundle to the Cartel Market. This seems like something extremely fun, and I'm personally looking really forward to picking it up for myself. The bundle is called the Remote Trading Outpost Bundle, and includes a large number of Cantina-themed decorations, 2 special pets, and even includes a way to unlock and upgrade the decorations you get from it by, quote-unquote, repairing the large Cantina decoration through some lightweight gameplay. The developers wanted to let you bring some of the magic of Galaxy's Edge inspired decorations back to your stronghold that you may have seen at the Disney parks. So in the bundle, you'll receive the Neglected set of decorations right off the bat, and you can participate in some lightweight gameplay. I think it's just a little text quest to repair the cantina and unlock the second set of repaired decorations, and you get to keep both sets and use any of them in any of your strongholds. This also seems to be how you unlock the Baby Dianoga pet and the D5CO DJ Droid mini pets. So the Disco Gonk Droid and the floating Baby Dianoga pet come with this bundle. I love the entire concept of this bundle. I love that it comes with a giant cantina decoration, and they also mentioned that they're going to be adding a new type of hook, or rather changing some existing ones, so that you can add this cantina and also decorate inside of it. It sounds like that little Remote Trading Outpost quest will be unlocked through the Comlink system, which is a new feature that they're adding to the game. And here's what they had to say about it. I'm going to use their words because we haven't gotten much testing to try it out ourselves yet. Comlink is a new interactive user interface they're introducing to enhance player engagement with the game world. There are 2 main scenarios where players will encounter Comlink in the game, interacting with terminals and communicating with characters. So the first scenario where you might use the Comlink, which is the green background one right here, is when you're trying to interact with something in the game and they didn't have a very good interface for this. They have the old school cutscenes with the dialogue wheel, and they have the Knights of the Old Republic style black bar cutscenes, but sometimes they just kind of had to use those for things like turning in tokens or turning in a quest or interacting with like a droid or a terminal, and it just didn't quite make sense. It didn't quite fit, but that's what they had on hand. So they designed this new interface, which looks like a really cool kind of old school Knights of the Old Republic graphical design that you can use, and it still has similar options to the other cutscenes in that it can have dialogue trees and have options for you to make, and the information shows up as text on the reader. So they said the Comlink can replace this kind of interaction, offering players options options such as interfacing with terminals, hacking droids, or even turning in event currencies. In Update 7.6, players will experience Comlink for the first time in a handful of dynamic encounters, where they will choose from standard dialogue options and make conversational choices, including lighter dark side choices. Players may also turn in currencies through this interface, making Comlink a versatile addition throughout the game. The second type of interaction involves character conversations, and this one actually looks different. Traditionally, players receive holocalls in the game akin to receiving a voice call in real life, where a pop-up appears and the players have a voice conversation. Comlink introduces a text message style where players can have chat-like conversations with characters in the Star Wars universe, using a distinct UI, which once again is really cool looking, definitely seems kind of Knights of the Old Republic old school gaming style inspired. Comlink allows for text-based interaction, giving player dialogue options similar to those in traditional conversations. It's important to emphasize that Comlink is not intended to replace cinematic or voice content, and this is the developer's words. Instead, it's value add, providing a new avenue for delivering narrative, context, or content that might otherwise be missed. For instance, we can now add extra layers to missions or side quests. With the ongoing voice actors video game strike, we may actually wind up seeing this more than they were originally expecting, but especially once that is resolved. This seems like a really fun way for the writers to be able to deliver just extra fun stuff to us alongside the normal mission dialogue or cutscenes. One of the most fun ways I've seen players imagine how these comlinks, especially the text message based ones, might be used is to get message from your romance companions, which is definitely something I'd like to see, and it sounds like it might be easier for the developers to deliver this type of content compared to having to coordinate with the voice actors and animate the cutscenes for them. Speaking of romance, it looks like they're sticking to their original plan of how these updates will be patterned. Updates that end in a .1, so for example the next one will be 7.6.1, will be the next Galactic Seasons launch, and with that we'll probably get new romances, just like the last few similar updates. In this update 7.6, we are getting the next PvP season, and the rewards for this one are pretty funny. I've got to share these with you. I've seen some definite mixed reactions. PvP Season 7 will be called Path to Mastery and start up with update 7.6 and runs for 16 weeks. The rewards include some new armor, and this is the funniest thing I've seen so far about it. The Plumed Scout and Plumed Trapper armors are earned from the rewards track. Caca! If you ever wanted to be a birdman, now is your chance. And from the vendor, there's the Feathered Ranged and Feathered Huntsmaster's armors, which can be purchased from the PvP vendor. In addition to the usual titles like decorations and the trophy rewards, they're also adding something unique. The Emote Honorable Bow will be on the rewards track, and this is an actual animated bowing emotion and really caught my eye and actually interested me in jumping back into PvP seasons after I took a break. They did also mention there's going to be some small but impactful changes to PvP balancing. The first one is you will no longer be able to group up with groups of 5 or more to jump into war zones. So the max group size you can pair up with is 4 or less. This means while you still might get unlucky while queuing up, you'll never wind up with pre-matched sets of 5, 6, 7, or 8 people on the other team. The second change is very specifically for players who are below level 80. There's a group of players who are stuck at level 75 because they have not recently subscribed, and they are using the set bonus spoils of war gear, and it's giving them a huge advantage compared to other players in that bracket, so they're going to be disabling the set bonus effects. This will ideally make PvP in that lower bracket more fun for casual players, since players below that level 75 mark don't have access to set bonuses at all. So while I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of those feathered floofy armors, they are pretty funny and I'll probably be excited about earning them just so I can dye them funny colors, I will say they are high quality armor sets, much like the ones that are coming from Dynamic Encounters. They are on the same quality and design level as the ones that are coming out in the Cartel Market, which is always awesome to see. That the developers are spending equal amount of time, love, and effort on both the stuff in the Cartel Market as well as stuff in game. So here is some of the stuff that's coming out on the Cartel Market, and a lot of this is inspired by the show coming out, Skeleton Crew, that's going to be on Disney+. I've heard it vaguely described as the Goonies, but it's Star Wars. The first off is the Mysterious Rogue armor set, and what's especially neat about it is that these are part of the same sets, the one on the left and the one on the right. You get both versions. The left version is with the jacket and the right version is with the jacket off. I really like that silken shirt, and I don't think we have anything quite like it target in the entire game yet. In addition, they're releasing the Fearless Buccaneer weapons, which is one for every weapon type, as well as vibro swords and vibro staffs, and they're kind of pirate inspired. Lastly, for new items, they are adding the metallic gray and chrome white dye and the chrome white and metallic gray dyes. Oh yeah, they did say something really interesting about dyes, so I'm going to read this verbatim. Speaking of dyes, we've got something we'd like to talk about. Dye pack updates. In the game, we've had a lot of feedback about how dye packs are purchased and stored and applied to the character, and we want to reevaluate that system. And so while we are doing that, and before that picture solidifies, we do want to go ahead and make the Cartel Market sale 50% off all dye packs starting November 14th. We're trying to improve how the player experiences around dye pack, so that's what our intention is until we settle that out. They'll be 50% off on sale. While players in general seem to love the idea of being able to dye their armor, the way it actually works has always been a bit of a mess, especially compared to other games with dyes, so I'm really looking forward to some updates there. Whether it's smart to stock up on dyes now or wait until after that update comes, whenever it may be, I couldn't tell you. I will say, if there's an outfit you're trying to make with an awesome dye, you might as well pick it up now and enjoy it until then. Oh yeah, there was one more Cartel Market addition, and that is 2 new hairstyles inspired by Skeleton Crew. The one on the left is called half long, half short hair, and the second is the braid hawk that will be added to the Cartel Market. What's cool is, in addition to those 2 Cartel Market Cartel coin hairs, they're also adding a new free hair. This hair was actually seen on an NPC character in the game. It's one of the existing hairstyles but missing certain parts, and players really liked it and requested could we have it in the game, and they added it for free for all players. And that'll be available in the character creator in update 7.6. Jumping out of the Cartel Market and back into the content again, the developers had started showing off the Propagator Core XR53 on the test server so they could start gathering feedback. This is a single boss operation known as a Lair boss and will be available in both story mode and veteran mode in 7.6 to level 80 subscribers. They've been doing a whole bunch of tweaks to the story mode, and it does seem quite acceptable for a story mode operation now. And they just recently put it out in veteran mode for testing. We do know that this new Lair boss will also be dropping the ingredients required for a new higher tier of augments. There's going to be 3 new tiers. In short, they're adding a new craftable introductory level of augments that don't require the special material, and 2 new sets of high-end, expensive, crazy to craft augments that players can chase down. These special, very difficult augments will require materials dropped from the new boss, the standard augment materials from Armor Mech or Armstech or Synthweaving, but also the 1337 CM item from Cybertech and some 2 new items, the Purified Bioessence, which comes from Biochem, and Overclock Biostabilizers, which come from Artifice. So basically they'll require something from pretty much every crafting style, as well as the new materials from the boss. The schematics for these higher end augments will also come from the Lair boss itself, and you can reverse engineer them to get the final purple version. Okay, so super cool. As I mentioned, this Lair boss and the dynamic encounters are currently available on the public test server. There is a whole bunch of rewards for doing testing on the test server, either dynamic encounters or Propagator Core XR53. You don't have to do both, including some old retired mounts that are very silly and a brand new mini pet. We don't know exactly when the test server will be shutting down, but we know the update will be coming maybe sometime on December 10th, so it's better to get them done early. Visit Swtorista.com for more information. So if you wanted to get that free Meirm Cicada companion mount in 7.6, or you wanted to go on the test server, or you want to be able to play the new Lair boss, you need to be a subscriber. They did release a new bundled package for subscription called the Master the Fight Bundle Starbolt Edition. Not too long ago, they put out one called the Firebolt Edition, which was similar but with a different colored mount. This bundle will include 180 days of subscription time, so 6 months, 5,500 cartel coins, extra cartel coins per month, and a unique mount and metallic dyes. If you're wondering, is it worth it? Because that's quite expensive, that's $100. It is if you're planning on buying the cartel coins anyway. However, if you only ever planned on subscribing, there are cheaper ways to do so. I'm going to be picking up this bundle because I plan on playing for the next 6 months for sure. Plus, I wanted those cartel coins at a discount because I wanted to grab that remote trading outpost. They also talked about Life Day, one of the reoccurring yearly events in Star Wars The Old Republic based on, the winter holidays. Life Day this year will start on December 10th, 2024. Life Day is a really fun, kind of simple, silly, casual event, and they posted about some new items, including the Tursa G1F7 mount, aka the gift mount, mount, which has some presents on it, and the new ornate Life Day robes. And you can see the undyed version on the left and the dyed version on the right. We're also getting a whole bunch of graphical updates coming up in Star Wars The Old Republic Update 7.6. This includes a whole bunch of new stuff on the planets, most notably on Tython, Korriban, Hoth, and Ilum. If you jump on over to the Sith starting planet of Korriban, you'll see a bunch of the statues have been retextured, the lighting's been improved. Basically, when you go out close to rocks, they'll be a lot less blurry. Over on Tython, the Jedi starter world, the trees have gotten a total makeover. Players were also really excited to hear about some of the other graphical modernization efforts when it comes to characters. Players have often said, with these beautiful new assets being added to the game, especially on the newer expansion planets, my character kind of looks out of place. So the developers went to try and improve the fidelity of characters across the game while keeping your character uniquely yours and still recognizable. They targeted the character textures, ocular specularity, so the sparkle in your eye, lighting, and shader improvements. What they showed in the preview video looked pretty good. However, when players started hopping over to the test server, there was some very mixed reactions about what was being seen and the differences between the live server. The most noticeable being that players' characters seem to look older, having more defined lines and wrinkles on their face than they did before. At the moment, it kind of sounds like players are hoping for some adjustments on this before 7.6 comes out. That character appearance change wasn't the only thing that had players up in arms. They announced that they are doing a purge of character names of unplayed characters in Update 7.6, which, like I said, doesn't have a date, but is likely coming out early December with a guess of December 10th. To guarantee you keep your character names, you can do one of these two things. Either A, be subscribed on the day Update 7.6 launches, or log into each of your characters individually on each server. Many of you have been asking about the status of the Mac launcher for Star Wars The Old Republic to make it a lot easier to launch Star Wars on your Mac. They said that the technical test was open to players mid-October, and they're currently gathering feedback from testers and fixing bugs. They said, "We believe we're either going to release it fairly soon or just open it to a wider audience. We've got a couple more bugs to fix, but overall it's looking really good. I anticipate maybe in the next week or two, we'll make a decision about how many more people we can add into the test, and after that, we'll just release it and make it generally available." So that's great news for anyone playing on a Mac and want an easier way to launch the game. This is probably one of the longest update videos I've ever made. I was only expecting a few things in this update, and we got an absolute, as the developers phrase it, hut load of things coming up. So let's do a quick recap. So there is supposed to be the story, Galactic Threads, but it's being delayed, likely due to the SAG-AFTRA voice actors video game strike. There's all the usual Cartel Market items being added, including the new but interesting remote trading post. New hair, new free hair, a 50% off dye sale and potential dye changes coming up in the future, the Master the Fight $99 bundle, dynamic encounters which includes 100 new missions between Hoth and Tatooine, the new Comlink feature for text messages and computer interfaces, the new XR53 Lair boss for 8 players at level 80 in both story mode and veteran mode, including its new crafting materials used for making new augments with crafting. The public test server is currently up with a whole bunch of different types of rewards you can earn before the update comes out. PvP Season 7, including some new rewards and PvP balancing changes, will be coming out with Update 7.6. Life Day 2024 will be coming out on December 10th. The Mac computer launcher is looking really good so far. We're going to get companion mounts, including a free Meirm Cicada companion mount if you're subscribed during November 29th to January 4th. The developers are doing a name purge, so make sure to log into all your characters or subscribe. There's going to be a graphical update to the planets Hoth, Ilum, Tython, and Korriban, which will be quite noticeable on the second two. And they're doing some graphical updates to characters, which may change along the way.
And Life Day starts on the 10th.
But I'm not supposed to tell you that it's the same day as Life Day.
Yeah, just close in the box, people. This guy. This guy.
Like I said, there's so many different things in that giant bundle of stuff we're getting with 7.6 that I'm really looking forward to covering for you. If you want up-to-date guides, don't forget to visit Swtorista.com, and there's quite a few of these that I want to make videos about as well. If you want to show your support for these types of in-depth guides, news, and videos about your favorite games, Star Wars, The Old Republic, visit Swtorista.com/support. And if you want some of those new guide videos to show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel. As always, May the Force be with you, and looking forward to seeing you in the new update. See you later!